What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video, reacting to the history of the bass guitar by Gear for Music Guitars. So what's going on, everybody? Today, we're going to be reacting to the history of the bass guitar by Gear for Music Guitars. As always, if you're not already, please go and give Gear for Music Guitars a sub. I've included the link of the original video in the description. Go ahead and click on that and give that a like as well. And on this video, my video, leave a comment on what you'd like to see me react to next, and let's be getting to it.
I'm Danny Sapko here at Gear for Music, and today we're looking at a history of the bass guitar, the world's greatest instrument, in my opinion. We're going to see how the electric bass developed from its humble beginnings in the early 50s right through to the end of the 20th century. As music changed dramatically, so did the bass.
Sounds like flat wounds.
So in the 1950s, rock and roll was king. And this is the kind of bass you'd expect to see from that era. The bass guitar was in a very primitive stage, and people would often play very simple bass lines to start off with, trying to emulate the sound of an upright bass. And people did this by playing with their thumb or a guitar pick, playing close to the neck up here, and using flat wound strings, because round wound strings like these weren't invented yet. Now we can emulate the sound of flat wound strings by rolling down the tone knob, and it might sound something like this.
I know he said you can emulate the sound of flat wounds by rolling off the tone, but to me, even if he had his tone full up, they already sounded like flat wounds to me. Sounded like flat wounds. I don't know.
Heading into the 1960s, there was a much wider variety of basses available. People started designing hollow body basses and short scale basses.
Can't quite see what that headstock is saying. What is that? What is that? Can't wait to hear it. I love me a nice hollow body.
Baritone guitars, which is sort of a hybrid between a guitar and a bass, and people invented innovative ways of playing these instruments, really bringing the bass to the forefront of music instead of just being in the background. A lot of bassists in the 60s preferred a more clunky sound. Clunky? Is that a word? And they'd achieve this by playing with a pick and muting the strings by the bridge with the palm of their hand. Paul McCartney loved this technique, and a lot of other bassists adopted it too.
And a lot of basses back then, like Rickenbackers, actually had mutes on the bridge that you could raise up or put down. I know the Rickenbackers used to have them, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if there's P bass or J bass that used to have them as well too. That was a thing that everybody wanted, that really kind of muted, muffled bass sound back then. Yeah.
Now when I think of the 70s, I think funk and disco, and it was a great time to be a bassist.
Now I love funk, disco, but that's a J-bass style bass. So apparently these are all gear for music instruments, their versions of stuff. So that's what it's looking like it is. I couldn't quite read the headstock on the hollow body, but this is when it starts to get into the bass tone and the bass sounds that I personally like. I have nothing against players who play with a more flat wound kind of tone and a lot more low end with not that much bright, a typical lower, almost muddy kind of bass tone. Not muddy, but more bottom heavy. But I really like it when it starts getting into things like the jazz bass or anything where you can hear a lot more mids and a lot more bite and growl come out of the bass. Especially if you're playing rock or funk bass when there's a lot of guitars, you need that little bit of mid to cut through the mix and get a more defined bass tone. In my humble opinion, that's just the kind of tones that I prefer, that I go for.
Bass lines became rhythmic and percussive and really drove this genre of music. I say the bass almost became a lead instrument in these times. So this is the kind of bass you might see in that era. People were looking for more of a trebly sound, so having a pickup closer to the bridge can help you achieve that. It might sound something like this. Into the 1980s.
Danny, I love you, man, and you're a great player, but that bass was a little poorly intonated or out of tune. But great tone, great groove and all that. Great tone, great groove. Yeah, I prefer more of that type of tone. And oh my. Is that Danny with a 5-string? Well, this isn't his channel. Yeah, Danny's doing this for Gear for Music, so they threw a 5-string his way. But he is, if you've seen him on his own channel, he is not a fan of 5-string basses at all.
And this is where the bass got really experimental. Designers were coming up with all sorts of creative designs, such as active pickups, which are battery powered, fretless basses, which removes all the frets from the neck, or extended range basses, such as this, which has 5 strings. Now this allows you to get lower, deeper, and totally change up your sound. And people were really experimenting with different bass tones, adding effects such as chorus and reverb, and most importantly, they started playing with their thumb. For me, slap bass really defines the sound of the 80s, as players such as Mark King took it to the next level.
That's a good tone. Now there's where we're getting more into the kind of tone that I like, because obviously, slap bass tone, you need a little bit of treble and a lot of mid to really get that kind of snappy tone. But yeah, that's actually a really nice sounding bass. It's a PJ, or is that a humbucker in the neck too? I don't know. Oh, it's a P bass. Yeah, P and J.
Coming up to the end of the 20th century, the 90s saw the rise of grunge music. Now with this style, players wanted a deep, gritty rock sound, so they often played with a pick and experimented using distortion and overdrive on their bass. This style really stripped the bass guitar back to its roots, because it wasn't so much about which notes you played, it's how you play them. And you might find a bass like this one, with a pickup right in the middle to give you that growling sound, and a pickup near the bridge to give you that clarity and brightness and really cut through the mix. Here's how it might sound.
That is a gnarly bass tone. That is a sick bass tone. I gotta work on my pick playing on the bass.
Alright, that was my brief history lesson on the evolution of the bass guitar. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And for more information on any of these basses, please check the link in the description. I've been Danny Sapko for Gear for Music, and I'll see you soon.
Alright, that was reacting to the history of the bass guitar by Gear for Music Guitars. So as always, if you've not already subscribed to Gear for Music Guitars, go ahead and give them a sub now. I've included the link for the original video in the description below. Go ahead and click on that and give the original video a like as well. And on this video, my video, leave a comment on what you'd like to watch me react to next. Thanks for checking out this video. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, click the notification bell, like, comment, and share. It doesn't cost a thing and would really help out the channel. Also, please subscribe to my other channel, GK Mac Music, for some live looping live streams with a side of jackassery, some original music, and some short content, also with a side of jackassery. If you'd like to help out the channel financially, you can buy some merch at the merch store, or you can become a channel member. As always, everyone, thanks so much for your continued support. Do what makes you happy.